White House. Joining me on the phone is John McLaughlin, former deputy director of the CIA. John, good to talk to you again. Just talk to me about what Hans was just saying. The thing about John Brennan and others that are named here that gets under the president's skin is criticism of this administration, none of which is affected by whether or not John McLaughlin and others like you have clearances.
Not at all, Ali. This is ridiculous. I can think of few things the president has done that more directly indicate a kind of authoritarian attitude in his governing style. I mean, to pull clearances from someone is something that you see happen when leaders of countries that are trying to move them in that direction try to silence their enemies, along with other things they do. Clearly, nothing that John Brennan has said or that the other intelligence people on this list have said has anything to do with classified information. The reason you pull someone's clearances, the unique reason really, is if they have abused or in some way released in an unauthorized way classified information, and these people haven't done that. They've only spoken out using their First Amendment rights to state their personal opinions. Looking at abuse of classified information, the president might look in the mirror. You recall what he did when he released inappropriately classified information, it's said, from an Israeli report when he talked to the Russians. So I think it's just across the board a foolish thing to do, and I believe Katie Tur was probably correct in saying this is nothing more than a distraction at this point. The other point I'd make to you is that, in my understanding, and having been involved in these cases, typically there is some sort of a hearing before this is done. Typically there is an appeal process, and often these cases can escalate to a federal court. I doubt anyone in the White House has thought through any of that. Yeah. Because, as usual, they've rolled the ball down the lanes, broken up the pins without any idea of how they're going to set them back up again. So, John, I just want to underscore something you said. You said it sort of feels like an authoritarian act. It's not just random. It is of the president's critics, which should be really more worrisome to people. It's not an across-the-board thing. It's not saying that everybody who served in prior administrations gets their security clearance revoked. This is about people. John McLaughlin in point in case, but I'm sorry, John Brennan point in case. But there are other names that the White House is evaluating, all of whom have criticized the president. Absolutely. When I think of someone like Sally Yates, I don't know Sally Yates personally. I've met her, but I can think of people in the federal government who've served in the Justice Department who are more respectful of classified information. You'll recall it was Sally Yates who went to the White House to alert the White House way back in at the beginning of all of this, that there was a potential security and counterintelligence problem with General Flynn. So this really has the feel of someone simply trying to do two things: silence critics and also distract from another damaging political event that's going on with Ms. Omarosa. And just to let our viewers know what's going on, the president is revoking the security clearance of former director of the Central Intelligence Agency, John Brennan. He's also evaluating the clearances of James Clapper, James Comey, Michael Hayden, Sally Yates, Susan Rice, Lisa Page, Peter Strzok, and Bruce Orr. John McLaughlin is joining me on the phone. He's the former deputy director of the CIA. John, how Hans Nichols just made the point that John Brennan and others in their criticisms of the president are not using any raw intelligence. They're not using classified information. What's the net effect of taking clearances away from these people? Well, I think if you are in any way timid about expressing your personal views, the message that goes out is be careful what you say if you have a clearance and if you're worried about having it revoked. I don't think it's stretching a point too far to say that if you look inside the intelligence community, one of its duties, of course, is to speak the truth, regardless of the consequences. That sometimes involves saying things that the listener doesn't want to hear. I'm sure that's happened to President Trump a number of times. I don't think the intelligence community will shrink from that duty, but it does throw a kind of bucket of ice, if you will, onto people who have that job to think that Delivering unpleasant news is not something that this particular president relishes.
Yeah.
And I've worked for a lot of presidents, and frankly, they don't like hearing bad news, but they also sometimes thank you for it because they know that what you're trying to do ultimately is help them. I just don't have a feeling that, the way for for President Trump to engage on this is if he disagrees with what they're saying, to speak up himself and express the reasons for his disagreement, not to yank their security clearances. That's what happens in a real democracy.
John, good to talk to you. Thank you for joining us. John McLaughlin is the former deputy director of the CIA.